Sometimes the biggest changes in our food system happen quietly. Products we've seen on store shelves for decades start getting re-evaluated, and the foods many people enjoy every day suddenly raise new questions. And if you or someone in your family enjoys colorful snacks, sweet drinks, or bright packaged foods, today's story is especially important to hear. In this video, I want to walk you through a list of 36 popular foods that nutrition experts have recently taken a closer look at. These include brightly colored cereals, sports drinks, candies, baked goods, and even some breads and snacks. My goal isn't to frighten you, but to help you understand why certain ingredients are being discussed more seriously, especially for people over 50 who want to support their energy, digestion, and overall well-being. Let's start with food dyes, because that's where most of the attention is right now. Food dyes are what give many snacks and beverages their bright, appealing colors. They make candy look fun, cereal look vibrant, and drinks look refreshing. But more and more nutrition researchers are suggesting that adults, especially those in their later years, may want to pay closer attention to how often these additives appear in their daily meals. There are 9 food dyes that specialists highlight most often. These include red dye number 3, citrus red number 2, orange B, red 40, yellow 5, yellow 6, blue 1, blue 2, and green 3. The names themselves may not mean much at first glance, but the everyday foods they appear in will likely surprise you. Some studies suggest that these dyes may contribute to unwanted reactions when consumed in large amounts, and adults over 50 often find that their bodies respond better when brightly colored processed foods are reduced or replaced with simpler choices. That's why many nutrition experts encourage seniors to check the ingredient list occasionally. It can make a bigger difference than most people realize. So let's look at where these dyes commonly appear. We'll start with the most frequently used ones, red 3 and red 40. These are found in colorful candies, marshmallow cereals, strawberry and cherry-flavored pastries, fruit snacks, red sports drinks, Jell-O-style desserts, and even the bright red cherries used to decorate desserts. Next are yellow 5 and yellow 6. You'll often find them in crunchy cheese snacks, nacho chips, boxed macaroni mixes, lemon-lime sodas, rainbow breakfast cereals, snack cakes, and the seasoning packets inside instant noodles. Blue dyes, blue 1 and blue 2, appear in blue sports drinks, blue-coated candies, powdered drink mixes, frozen ice pops, and colorful lollipops. Then we have green 3. This one shows up in mint gum, lime-flavored gelatin desserts, green popsicles, and decorative frosting on cookies or cupcakes. These foods are so common that many people don't even realize they eat them regularly. That's exactly why nutrition experts recommend that people over 50 give the ingredient label a quick glance, not out of fear, but simply to help the body work with less stress and fewer unnecessary additives. Now that we've looked at the dyes already being phased out of many products, let's talk about the next group of ingredients that nutrition researchers are currently reviewing more closely. These aren't disappearing from shelves overnight, but many specialists believe they are worth paying attention to, especially for adults who want to support their long-term metabolic and digestive health. One ingredient that often comes up in these discussions is titanium dioxide. You may have seen it listed in items like chewing gum, certain powdered coffee creamers, salad dressings, and even some baked goods. It's primarily used to brighten the color of foods, but because it shows up so frequently, many people like to be aware of how much they consume. Another ingredient under review is brominated vegetable oil, sometimes listed as BVO. It's been used in certain citrus-flavored drinks to help keep the ingredients mixed. Over the years, several beverage companies have already reformulated their products to remove it, and more brands are expected to follow that path. Potassium bromate is also being examined. This ingredient appears in some packaged breads, rolls, frozen pizza dough, and commercial bakery items. Its purpose is to improve texture and make dough rise more consistently, but many consumers prefer to choose products that use simpler baking ingredients. Propylene paraben is another additive found in some tortillas, snack cakes, and shelf-stable desserts. It helps extend freshness, yet many people find that choosing foods with fewer preservatives makes them feel better overall. And then there's glyphosate, a substance widely used in agriculture. Because it can appear as residue on wheat, oats, soy, and corn, many people opt for certified organic products or brands that test for lower residue levels. These decisions aren't about fear, they're simply about reducing the total load of environmental exposures over time, which can be especially helpful for adults over 50. The next category that deserves attention is high fructose corn syrup. This sweetener has become common in sodas, sauces, condiments, candies, and packaged desserts. While it adds flavor, it can also place extra stress on the body when consumed often. Many nutrition specialists point out that high fructose corn syrup is processed differently than other natural sugars. A large portion of it is handled directly by the liver, and when it appears too frequently in the diet, some adults notice issues like low energy, difficulty managing weight, or feeling more inflamed than usual. That's why cutting back on it tends to make people feel lighter, clearer, and more balanced. Here are some of the most common foods where high fructose corn syrup appears: sodas, barbecue sauces, ketchup, sweetened cereals, candy bars, packaged pastries, and many snack cakes. Even reducing these foods gradually, not all at once, can support better digestion, steadier energy levels, and easier weight management. Before we move on, remember, the goal here is never to judge what anyone eats. It's simply to help older adults make more informed choices so their bodies can function with more ease, more comfort, and more strength. Another group of ingredients that many nutrition specialists encourage adults over 50 to pay attention to is commonly known as seed oils. These oils, sometimes called vegetable oils, are very common in packaged foods and restaurant meals. While they can be convenient for manufacturers, some people notice that when these oils make up a large part of their diet, they tend to feel heavier, more inflamed, or less energetic. Why does this happen? Seed oils are sensitive to heat and light. When they're used for frying or processed at high temperatures, they can form compounds that add stress to the body. A helpful way to imagine this is to think about what happens when you cut an apple and leave it on the counter. It slowly browns from exposure to oxygen. Something similar can happen inside our bodies when we consume too many highly processed fats, especially over many years. For adults over 60, being mindful of this can be especially supportive because the body naturally becomes more sensitive to oxidative stress with age. And while no single meal will cause major problems, the effect can add up over time. Here are the most common oils in this category: canola oil, corn oil, cottonseed oil, sunflower oil, soybean oil, safflower oil, rice bran oil, grapeseed oil. These oils appear in a large portion of packaged snacks and ready-made meals. You'll often find them in chips and crackers, bottled salad dressings, store-bought baked goods, mayonnaise and condiments, fried foods at many restaurants. This doesn't mean you must eliminate these foods entirely. Instead, the goal is awareness. Many seniors feel better, lighter, and less inflamed when they gradually shift toward more stable, traditional fats. Here are some of the oils that nutrition experts often recommend as gentler options: extra virgin olive oil, avocado oil, butter or ghee, if tolerated well, coconut oil, even small amounts of animal fats like duck fat or lard, depending on a person's dietary preference. Some people find it helpful to politely request alternative cooking oils when eating at restaurants. A simple phrase like, "Could this be cooked in olive oil?" is often all that's needed. Remember, none of this is about perfection. It's about reducing long-term stress on the body and making gradual swaps that help support energy, metabolism, and comfort as we age. Another topic that many health educators are bringing up today is the rise of ultra-processed foods. These foods are convenient, inexpensive, and everywhere, from gas stations to school cafeterias. But for older adults, relying on them too often can gradually make it harder for the body to manage energy, weight, inflammation, and blood sugar. Ultra-processed foods typically contain long ingredient lists, artificial additives, dyes, flavor enhancers, and vegetable oils. None of these ingredients are harmful in one small serving, but over many years, they can place additional stress on the body. Seniors often notice clearer thinking, steadier energy, and fewer digestive issues when they reduce these foods and focus more on simple, whole ingredients. This isn't about blaming anyone. It's about understanding how food affects the body, especially after age 50, when metabolism becomes more sensitive. Many people are surprised to learn that the United States, despite being one of the wealthiest countries in the world, ranks much lower than expected in measures of overall health. Chronic conditions, including weight issues, high blood sugar, and fatigue, have become more common, even among younger adults. And a large portion of healthcare spending goes toward managing conditions that are strongly influenced by lifestyle. That's why so many nutrition educators encourage a simple shift. Look more closely at what goes onto the plate each day. Instead of relying on highly processed snacks and ready-made meals, choosing foods with fewer ingredients, or better yet, single-ingredient foods, can make a meaningful difference. Foods like fresh vegetables, fruits, eggs, plain yogurt, whole cuts of meat, beans, nuts, and whole grains often support the body far more effectively than packaged alternatives. When the body receives simpler, cleaner foods, energy production improves. Digestion becomes easier, inflammation signals calm down, and many adults notice better mobility, less stiffness, and more stable weight, often within weeks. These improvements don't require strict dieting. They simply require paying attention to what feels nourishing and what doesn't. Other countries have already taken steps to limit certain additives in processed foods. For example, several European nations place tighter restrictions on food dyes and chemical preservatives. Some experts believe these policies contribute to better long-term health outcomes. But even without waiting for policy changes, individuals can make meaningful improvements right now by choosing foods closer to their natural state. Whole foods don't require long ingredient labels. A banana is a banana. An avocado is an avocado. A piece of salmon is just salmon. But when a bag of chips contains 20 unfamiliar ingredients, it's a sign that the body may have to work harder to process it. A simple rule many seniors find helpful is this: if you can't easily pronounce the ingredients, or if the list is unusually long, it might be something to enjoy only occasionally. The goal isn't perfection, it's steady progress. Each small shift adds up, and over months or years these changes can help support better energy, clearer thinking, and more comfortable aging. At this point, many people begin wondering whether choosing organic foods matters, and the answer is, it depends. Organic certification can reduce exposure to certain chemicals, but it doesn't guarantee a completely clean product. There are still loopholes, and labeling can sometimes be confusing. That's why many nutrition experts recommend using a simple, practical tool instead of relying fully on packaging. One helpful resource is the Clean 15 and the Dirty Dozen, an annual guide that highlights which fruits and vegetables tend to carry the lowest and the highest levels of residue when grown conventionally. This list isn't meant to scare anyone. It simply helps older adults stretch their budget wisely by choosing when organic options matter most. The Clean 15 generally contain lower levels of residue, even when not organic. These include avocados, sweet corn, pineapples, onions, papayas, frozen peas, asparagus, mushrooms, sweet potatoes, mangoes, watermelon, cantaloupe, kiwi, honeydew melon, and carrots. On the other hand, the Dirty Dozen tend to hold on to more residue, so choosing them organic whenever possible is often recommended. These include strawberries, spinach, grapes, apples, cherries, leafy greens like kale and collards, peaches, pears, nectarines, blueberries, bell peppers, hot peppers, and green beans. Again, this isn't about following rigid rules. It's simply a way to make decisions that support long-term health without overcomplicating the shopping routine. Many seniors find that once they begin choosing more whole foods and fewer highly processed snacks, they naturally feel lighter, clearer, and more stable throughout the day. At the end of the day, the human body responds best to foods that are close to their natural form. A piece of fruit, a handful of nuts, a home-cooked meal. These simple choices often support aging far better than anything found in a bright, shiny package. And now that we've covered the major ingredients appearing in many processed foods, it's a good time to address some of the most common questions people ask when they begin paying closer attention to their meals. These questions come up often among older adults who want to feel stronger, live longer, and reduce the daily stress on their bodies. Let's take a look at what people usually ask, and the answers that can help you make confident, informed decisions. Now let's go through some of the questions people often ask when they start paying attention to the ingredients in their everyday foods. These questions come up again and again, especially among older adults who want to feel clearer, stronger, and more energetic as they age. I'll walk you through each one in a simple, practical way so you can make choices with confidence. Question 1. Will my favorite brands disappear, or will they simply change their ingredients? Most companies prefer updating their recipes rather than removing products from store shelves. In many cases, familiar snacks and drinks will stay available, just with cleaner ingredient lists. While you're waiting for those changes, there are easy swaps you can make right now. Instead of sugary sodas, many people enjoy flavored sparkling water or unsweetened sparkling drinks. Brands like Zevia or natural mineral waters can feel refreshing without adding stress to the body. Question 2. How soon will changes in the food system start to appear? Adjustments usually happen gradually. Reformulation takes time, and companies roll out new versions step by step. Some items may be updated within a year or two, while others change more slowly. This is why personal choice still matters. You don't have to wait for the entire system to shift. You can take small steps today that support your own long-term health. Question 3. What does the research say about these additives? There is a wide range of studies on the ingredients we've discussed, and many researchers highlight the importance of minimizing long-term exposure to highly processed foods. The key takeaway is simple. The more whole and natural the food, the less stress it tends to place on the body. Even small improvements in your daily meals can support steadier energy, clearer digestion, and easier weight management. Question 4. How might these changes affect school meals or government food programs? If cleaner ingredient standards become more common, it could eventually influence the meals served in public institutions. Better quality ingredients often support children's focus, energy, and overall well-being. Some nonprofit groups already advocate for improving school food, and many communities are beginning to take this seriously. Question 5. Are these additives only concerning in large amounts or even in small doses? For most people, it's the long-term accumulation that matters. A single snack or dessert is rarely a problem. But when processed additives appear in meals day after day, year after year, the body may begin to show subtle signs of stress, lower energy, disrupted digestion, or more inflammation. That's why gentle moderation can go a long way. Question 6. Are organic foods always free from these additives? Not always. While organic certification limits certain chemicals, it doesn't automatically remove every ingredient people may want to avoid. That's why reading labels and using guides like the Clean 15 and Dirty Dozen can still be helpful. When in doubt, choosing foods with fewer ingredients, or no ingredients list at all, is a simple and reliable strategy. Question 7. How do I make better choices without feeling overwhelmed? A helpful rule is this. Focus on progress, not perfection. Replace one packaged item with a whole food option. Cook at home one extra time each week. Choose fruit instead of a candy bar, or nuts instead of chips. Over time, these small steps reduce the body's stress load and help your metabolism function with more ease. By shifting the foundation of your meals towards simple, recognizable foods, you give your body the chance to repair, recover, and support better energy throughout the day. No complicated diet required. This section covers the food guidance at the end of the competitor's video and leads naturally into your call to action. To close out this lesson, I want to leave you with something simple and practical. A food choice that supports steady energy, gentle digestion, and calmer inflammation throughout the body. And the best part is that it's affordable, easy to find, and fits comfortably into most meals. That food is the avocado. Many people overlook it or think of it only as a topping, but the truth is that this fruit can support your metabolism in meaningful ways. When you eat even half an avocado each day, you give your body monounsaturated fats, natural fiber, and steady fuel that helps keep your blood sugar more balanced throughout the day. After 60, these small advantages add up. They help you feel fuller, reduce the urge to snack, and support smoother digestion. If you've ever felt mid-afternoon fatigue, cravings in the evening, or stiffness after meals, adding an avocado to your routine may help your body feel more supported. It's one of those foods that works quietly behind the scenes. No shortcuts, no complications. The real secret is consistency. When you eat nourishing foods every day, your body has an easier time keeping energy levels stable and supporting you through daily activities. And that's what we all want as we grow older. Steadier mornings, lighter steps, and more comfort in the body we move through life in. If you're curious about how your body responds, try eating one avocado a day for a week. Notice your energy. Notice your digestion. Notice how you feel between meals. Many people are surprised by the difference something this simple can make. And if you'd like to explore this idea further, I've prepared a full video that walks through what happens during those 7 days, how your body adapts, the benefits you may feel, and how to get the most from adding this food to your routine. You'll find that video right here on the channel. Thank you for spending this time with me today. If this discussion helped you understand your food choices a little more clearly, I invite you to stay with us for more conversations like this. Conversations designed to support your strength, comfort, and independence at every stage of life.